You're listening to Empowerment and All That podcast, your favorite podcast for women's empowerment, hosted by Rita Bautista. It's time to be reminded of the authority of your inner goddess and elevate the power within. Are you ready?
Well.
COVID-19.
Here we are. Week 3 at home in quarantine. How are you doing? I know I'm still trying to figure this out, and with my dog at my right-hand side who won't leave me alone, I'm ready to explode. Don't get me wrong, he doesn't talk back, so I guess I have it a little bit better than most people, but I'm just being honest, you guys. This whole quarantine thing, it's been great, don't get me wrong, because I do appreciate the isolation and the solitude. A lot of the silence has been great, but it has sucked. Some spaces more than others. But what's interesting is I wanted to give a perspective of the single gal's version of living in COVID-19. What is the single gal doing? Well, for those of you who know me, I've been working on a project called Latina Podcasters for a little while now. It's a business that has jump-started an opportunity for women who are Latinas and podcasting to connect to other Latinas who are podcasting, to also learn resource tools and guides. And the next step is to create a monetizing option for everyone who is podcasting as well. So I've been working on that day and night. And I've also been doing my job, my current job, which you guys know I'm in healthcare, has been really hard, I'm not going to lie. Because I've built relationships with these people over the last 2 years. And some of these people, they don't have the opportunity to stay home. And they have to go into work, and hearing their stories and their frustrations and their fears and their excitements and everything else, it makes me thankful that I'm at home. But it still makes me a little sad. So, here's the thing. The reason I wanted to talk about boundaries today was because during a time where our lives are all being handled in one space, finding opportunities for us to create boundaries is really difficult. I was lucky to have gotten my house analyzed right before we jumped into COVID-19 quarantine. And I had this really awesome woman who did this quick minor assessment of my house. She looked at my walls that I've talked about over and over again that I write on and everything. And then she looked at the space that I utilize to do work. And she said, "Rita, I love the decor, but you have to respect your boundaries of your home." And I was like, "What are you talking about? I do respect my boundaries." And she's like, "No, what you have to do is create space for your life to create boundaries." As in, my dinner table is where I work right now. Even though I have a nook, I have a desk and a nook in a space where I could work from, but it's not facing the light. I am a light person. I need to hear water, which has been extremely helpful that I live close to the pool at my apartment complex. So every morning now, part of my morning routine is to wake up, open all the windows and the doors, take my cup of coffee, and go sit out on my porch and listen to the water for a little while I write in my gratitude journal the 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then go and walk my dog. But the reason she said that was, and she was absolutely right, which is really interesting, right? She's like, you need to create a space on your table that's specifically related just to eating dinner, and the other side you can make into your personal desk and your space. And I said, well, I have a nook, I could work from there. And she could automatically read my energy and said, no, that's not the space that you work from that will work for you. That's just not the space. So learn to create boundaries in your life. felt like it was the most profound thing I've ever heard anyone ever tell me before. Because, look, I haven't always been the best person at boundaries, right? But creating them has helped me realize so many things these days. So I wondered how I could take that idea of creating boundaries on one table, right? And how that would change my life. Just in a very small period of time, I started to notice little things. One, I hadn't set my table in 2 years. Since I purchased my mats for my table and the napkins and the napkin holders, I had never set my table. So I set the table. And the cool thing about working from my dinner table and actually seeing the setup is that I actually want to sit down for dinner. Now, I am a little isolated, but occasionally I'll have a friend stop by and I get a chance to chat. And I will move things out of the way and I will make sure that we sit down at the dinner table to eat and talk. And just by creating that space, I was able to remind myself that that's a place that I honor me being myself, me nurturing my body. And the other side, obviously, I remember that that's the space that I do work. And it's weird because now I make sure to give myself time for breaks in between work, eat, breathe, space. How are you creating boundaries in your life right now? We're in a very, very difficult time, right? We're in quarantine. We are around more people than we're used to. We are communicating more with people that we are used to. And listen, I only have a dog right now in my house. And even that's difficult because even my dog is taking time to try to understand me, reconnect with me, knowing that I'm here 24/7. And trust me, this dog thinks that I'm his master. He's my master. But if an animal takes time to adjust to the boundaries that are being created during the time of complete isolation, can you only imagine those around you and how they feel? And also remember that you must communicate the same thing about the way that you're feeling with them as well. Give yourself time to go for a walk, a 30-minute break if you need a mommy break. Sign up for virtual happy hours so you can have conversations with adults. Latina Podcasters, which I'm so lucky to be the founder of, we're actually hosting virtual happy hours for Latina podcasters every Thursdays now on Zoom. There's a $10 buy-in, but if you go to @Latina Podcasters in Instagram, you can find the Zoom link, and you can also send information there to log into the actual workshop. But find these spaces in which you can still be yourself. Just because you're in isolation doesn't necessarily mean that you have to stop being who you are. If your life normally consisted of you working out, or you reading for 30 minutes, or you going for a walk for 30 minutes, don't stop that space just because. You still have to create those boundaries to create nutrients for your own personal soul, for your mind. You have to be able to still continue on in your own space. And teach your children to also create that boundary space as well. If you're healthy, everyone else around you also absorbs that healthiness. And that is translated in so many ways. Right now, a lot of us are living our lives through social media and through video chats. But make sure that you're still protecting your energy in this time as well. Creating boundaries is also creating a regimen. Waking up at the same times that you used to when you went to work, even if you don't have to be there on time. For the first 2 weeks of isolation, I promised myself that I was going to put makeup on every day, and that I was going to get dressed every day. Now that might sound funny because I literally just get up, brush my teeth, take my dog out, do my gratitude journal in the morning, drink my coffee. But if I'm not doing my hair and I'm not doing my makeup, am I really fully functional for the day? Am I really putting my full attention into my work? If I knew that my routine before, in order for me to feel fully functioning and on, I needed to put on makeup and change and fix my hair, but now I'm no longer doing that, am I fully showing up for myself? And that's what really boundaries are. They're showing up for yourself. They're reminding yourself that you're still important. Maybe makeup isn't your thing, but there's something else that you're not doing that you should be implementing, even if it's not at the full 100% that you used to give before being in quarantine. Make sure that you set strong boundaries for yourself in order to create an opportunity for your mental health to stay at a great space.
Thanks for tuning in to Empowerment and All That podcast with your host, Rita Bautista. Want to help me grow the listener tribe? Make sure to subscribe to this podcast and follow us on Instagram and Facebook under Empowerment and All That. And remember, keep it positive or don't keep it at all.